Welcome back to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, including how much longer will this blackout with YouTube TV and Disney keep going? Hey, I'm recording this the night before, so if anything crazy happened overnight, like they struck a deal, sorry if this is out of date, but we're going to break down what's happening, what we know, and where the two sides stand at the time of this recording. This comes as Google is also losing access to some Disney services. We'll tell you which ones, what's happening as part of this fight. Amazon's laying new cables under the ocean to improve production, and Amazon is also cracking down on piracy with their Fire TV devices. And these stories and a whole lot more coming up in a quick second. First though, hey, thanks for the kind words. I am continuing to feel better after a very nasty cold over the weekend. I'm just kind of in that post-cold, weak voice phase. And hopefully my voice hangs in here through this. So thanks for all the kind words. I really do appreciate it. But if you want to learn more about any of these stories, do me a favor. Check out the show notes and in the first pinned comment. I'll put a link to each story there so you can read them for yourself, come up with your own opinions. I want to hear from you. If you're new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button or hitting that thumbs up. Doing one or both lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here, so they recommend our videos to more people. With that said, let's dive into it. With the biggest story happening in the last week, YouTube still, at the time of this recording, does not have Disney-owned channels. The two sides have not reached a deal to restore ESPN, ABC, Disney, Disney Junior, and FX, and Nat Geo, and all kinds of other channels. So where do the two sides stand? At the time of this recording, it seems to be pretty far apart. Yesterday, or 2 days ago when I posted this, Disney asked YouTube TV to restore ABC for Election Day. Google came back later that day and said no, a couple things. Rightfully so. There are other options. You can get your local ABC from an antenna. Local news stations have apps and options like News On or Haystack and others to stream the news. ABC News is streaming for free on YouTube and other places. We're not putting it back. You need to give us a long-term deal before we do it. They also said that they believe restoring ABC just for 24 hours and then removing it will just cause mass confusion with the customers out there. Excuse me. And they argue that trying to do that would probably be more harmful than good with it. But with this though, YouTube TV is rejected it. We'll see how that all plays out. It does tell us though, these public bickering back and forth on this tells me they're far apart. Usually when things go kind of quiet for a day or two, that's when you know things are starting to get closer to a deal done. When you see ads online in different places going away, when both sides kind of temper their words, gives you an idea they're closer. With these aggressive words and back and forth, it tells you they're probably far apart. Another thing that tells us far apart is we reported yesterday in the video that Disney-owned movies were removed from Google's video and TV stores, but also Google lost access to Movies Anywhere. Movie Anywhere is a service that allows you to buy movies and television shows, for example, on one service and watch them on a different. It links your movie purchases across multiple different apps. It's owned by Disney, and Google-owned services was removed from it. No longer do movies you buy on YouTube appear in other places. No longer can you watch movies you bought in other places, to appear, like on Fandango, appear on YouTube, for example. We'll watch that closely, but these kind of little bickering back and forth is something to keep an eye on. One thing I'm kind of surprised has not happened is that Disney has not removed a bunch of their very popular YouTube videos from the YouTube store, or YouTube app, I should say. We'll keep an eye on it. Full episodes of things like Disney Junior shows are streaming from Disney officially, legally on YouTube still. If those get removed, you know things are getting really serious. All right, let's keep moving along. Amazon's cracking down on piracy and Fire TV devices. They are teaming up with movie studios to identify known piracy apps and block them from being installed and block them from working on Fire TVs. Now, it was originally reported by The Sun, but the Alliance for Creativity and Entertainment, which is a group of different media companies from streaming players to major movie studios like Disney, have all teamed up to fund this group to go after piracy. Now, Amazon has teamed up with them to help identify known piracy apps and prevent them from operating on Fire TVs. Not just the new OS that runs on a Linux instead of Android, but older Fire TVs also with this. It's a sign that Amazon, I think, is attempting to try to avoid a lawsuit from studios. Fire TVs were long known as a way to get illegal access to content, and now they want to distance themselves from that, probably to avoid a legal lawsuit from studios. In the way we've seen some music companies go after different cable companies for not being aggressive enough in stopping piracy. We'll watch this closely. It's kind of a whack-a-mole game a little bit to identify these and take them down. But it's one of the most aggressive things we've seen Amazon do recently to stop piracy. We'll see how that plays out. But Fire TV, Amazon's making it very clear they only want legal, official apps running on it now. All right, today in TV history. This week marks a major milestone. 69 years ago this week, The Wizard of Oz first aired on television on CBS as part of a major block that they were launching. The 1939 classic film first aired on TV on November 3rd, 1956. Now it's a regular tradition to this day to find it regularly airing on broadcast TV. But at the time, it was also the first time that type of color was broadcast on television, and it set a standard there for what would come a regular occurrence. The Wizard of Oz, first airing on TV 69 years ago this year. All right, let's keep moving along. I hope my voice holds up. Hey, if you're an ESPN customer, and with ESPN Plus and more through ESPN Unlimited, they have now added 3,400 more basketball games from women's college basketball will now stream during the 2025-2026 season. ESPN's main coverage will have 240 games, but 3,000 plus games will air on ESPN Plus, and if you're an ESPN Unlimited customer, you'll get to access them. This comes as ESPN is dramatically expanding its college sports coverage, and particularly women's sports coverage, now streaming through ESPN Plus and included in your ESPN Unlimited subscription if you have that. Few more stories. Amazon's laid a new internet cable from Massachusetts to Ireland. Now this is interesting. It's got powerful enough bandwidth to do 320 terabytes per second. That's enough to stream 12.5 million HD movies at once, streaming across the Atlantic. It's hard to think about this. We think of satellites, right? You get on the internet, beams the satellite up and goes over to another part of the world. When the reality is most of the data actually goes to undersea cables, huge, massive cables that crisscross everything from the Pacific to the Atlantic and everything in between with it there. And many of these are owned by big tech companies who are trying to improve internet service internationally and in the United States. With it, many of the websites you may load may be hosted here in the United States or may be hosted somewhere else in the world. And these cables make it possible. And Amazon's been investing heavily to run these cables under the sea. And with this new one, it's expanding. Also, Jon Stewart is going to remain as the host of The Daily Show through December 2026. This is as Paramount's convinced him to hang around a little longer. Now, Jon Stewart famously retired quite a few years ago, came back recently after Noah. I think it's the cold that's frying my brain, but I apologize. I forget what his name, Noah something, right? That just retired from The Daily Show. I apologize. But with this, Jon Stewart's been filling in with other people, and he's going to stay at least through December 2026. We'll see how this plays out. But Jon Stewart, one of the classic TV hosts, is back again. Has been for a while, but is going to be here for a little bit longer. And also, AI is here to stay. Let me tell you this right now. Just get used to it. But I absolutely hate this use of AI. Coca-Cola has released a new holiday ad, and once again is an AI-generated ad. Last year, they released a full AI-generated ad. A lot of people did not care for it. I was one. This year, I actually think is worse than last year. It's back again. I apologize. My throat's hanging on by a thread right now. But look for more and more companies to do this. They say it's significantly cheaper to make these ads than hire animators and more. I believe it. And for all I complain about how bad of a quality this ad is, this is about as bad as it's going to get. These AI generated ads and videos and stuff will keep getting better and better and be harder and harder to tell the difference going forward. Well, that's it for today. I'm cutting this video a little bit shorter than normal. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll be back again tomorrow with another video. Until then, take care, be safe. I'll talk to you all again real soon.